All right, so it was recommended I do a video for Friday the 13th, which that's today. So happy Friday the 13th to you horror fans. But someone recommended I at least upload a video because more and more people, I'm being told, are getting interested in collectibles. Now, myself, I didn't find out about collectibles till I became a parent. I was about to say till I became an adult. That didn't make any sense. I became a parent and I was doing some extra Christmas shopping, and I started noticing some of the NECA figures more and more. Now, I originally wanted to have the Friday the 13th Flaw and Awe review done, but I'm still hard at work shipping out my book. If you haven't, maybe you've been away for a little bit and you haven't heard, me and the artist have been putting blood, sweat, and tears, literally blood, into this project. It is 5 comic book issues in one book, 128 pages. We have it in hand, and I'm now in the middle of shipping orders. I just shipped 56 orders. I got 60 going out tomorrow. International is on the way as well, so keep an eye out for tracking numbers. But I don't want to talk about the book much longer except for to let you know it's out. I have it in hand. The print quality is incredible. The best we've done to date as far as quality-wise. Doomsday Kingdom Volume 1, shipping within a week, because if you're new, I'm shipping the old orders. In a week, I'll be shipping any new orders that come in. Anyway, so here is a Camp Crystal Lake sign I got recently, and I just want to say, if you've been wanting to get one of these, get one. I put it off year after year. Now that I have one, I can't wait to hang it up somewhere. I got a lot of these little trinkets laying around from doing reviews on YouTube, and people send you like a collection box. But I just want to show off some of the figures. Now, since this is more of an open discussion, if you're not interested in this stuff, I guess there's not going to be much here, because we're going to go over how I got into collecting these. Like I said, I did not know a company was making this stuff. I knew companies were making things like 1/6 scale figures, but just, I don't know. I mean, the thought of, at the time, the thought of him, I looked and I was like, oh my God, that detail's incredible. But then I just totally blanked out. It just was not something I was interested in. Well, when I first started YouTube, I did a trade with somebody for some video games, and they sent me a shoebox with games and stuff in it, and inside it was also a Jason Voorhees figure, because I had told him I like horror movies. I forget, but so this is one of the first figures I ever got, and I remember looking at it going, oh, that's cool, but what am I going to do with this? So I threw it off to the side. It is what it is. Maybe it would, collect some value and I would end up selling it, but it was a gift, so I hung on to it. And within a year or 2 years later, somewhere around that time frame, I was in a store shopping for my daughter, and I found a Predator. It was actually this guy, Predator with Dutch. I think he's the dirty one back there. It was the Final Battle version with them in a 2-pack. It was the same sculpt right there, pretty much, but not with all the dirt and muck on him. Anyway, so it was the Final Battle Predator and Dutch, and I thought it was so friggin' cool. It looked just like the Predator. Now, if you know what toys look like when I grew up, this looked like more of something you would display rather than pull out and play with, because it's got small parts. So I got it just because it looked incredible, and the Predator is one of my favorite movie monsters. So I've got one of these Jason figures laying around. I've got one of this Predator now laying around. My girlfriend at the time ends up buying me a zombie head from The Walking Dead that held the movies from season 2. And then I run into this guy, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, the face. I mean, look at that face. The chainsaw. He can stand up in the same pose from the movie. He's got the bloody apron. I don't know. There's something about him that popped. And I was like, yo, I'm getting him. I'll put him up with the Jason. It'll be kind of cool. And then I ran into Freddy. You got Jason, you got Freddy, Texas Chainsaw. I got to pick him up. So I picked up this one. And I went years just having the one, because I was like, I'm good. That's it. Now, it was after a while I started paying closer attention to the detail, not from the movies. I knew there was differences in the movies, but with the figures, I noticed NECA was sticking with the detail from the movie, like Freddy in the first one doesn't have the stripes on his sleeves. And even the faces, you can tell the faces are molded, sculpted, differently to represent how they looked in the actual movie. So I got a kick out of that, and I ended up thinking I only needed this Freddy. He came with like 3 different heads, so you can change up your display, which is kind of cool. But to be honest, this Freddy is my favorite. The way his body sits, the 2 different the heads, the alternate heads that they give you are 2 of my favorites. This guy also he's definitely up there. So it's funny because you start with, I just want a Freddy Krueger in the collection, but it snowballs into, well, I want the one from part 1. He's got a different look. I want the part 1 head, part 2 and part 3. I think that's part 2 and part 3. And then you could switch the heads. You can buy doubles and then put all the heads, so that way you have all that's available on display. Same thing with Jason too. I got Jason in a pose kind of like that. And that's part 7. Jason looks totally different. Speaking of which, NECA is making a part 7, and I can't frickin' wait. He looks amazing. Anyway, so this is part 4. With the damaged mask. Or is that part 5? No. So he's part 4. Sometimes I get confused and I got to refocus. That poster that came with the big box set. Oh my God, I love this thing. I got to get a black frame for it. I saw someone put it in a black frame and it was amazing. But here's Jason from part 2. If I could get a Pamela Voorhees, if they made it in this size, that would be perfect. Because I don't want to they have a 8-inch version. These are 6 or 7-inch, something like that. They're retro figures. I don't like them. I don't like the Mego style, whatever they are. I'm thinking about getting the Scream one just because it looks so much like the movie, and that they live as well. I wish they just made them all one size. But anyway, so we got part 2. I showed you the part 4 already. This is Baghead Jason. It also comes with a head with no bag on it, and it looks just like the movie. And then you have one of my favorites. This is part 3, and I just broke my little shelf here. This is the one connected to the table. It's fine. There's this head and then this little head here. And whatever NECA did, it was incredible. The sculpt looks just like the movie. It's crazy for the price point. Now, the bad thing is the price went up in the last few years from $22 to $25 to $30. And now the price, and I know a lot of fans are in denial, but the price is gradually jumping from $30 to $35. You can actually see it on the market right now. NECA figures run between $30 and $35. Go to Big Bad Toy Store. You can see a number of old NECA figures they used to sell for $30. They now restock them for $35, and I think that's going to be the new price point for Ultimate figures, which sucks. I thought $30 was like, that was more than what they were asking, and I thought that was the nice, middle, I don't know. I thought that was the nice, solid price point. Anyway, so you got part 3, Jason. One of my favorites, even when it comes to the look of unmasked Jason. He's just so creepy. Look at his teeth there and his smile. This is him after he got the axe in the head and blood's rushing down. I don't know, though. That little smile and that look, they killed it. So there's part 3. You got Roy up here, which this figure I got a chuckle at because John from the Map family, he actually bought a hood, it's called. People make these hoods that make you look like Jason from part 3, part 7, part 8, and it's incredible. So you buy the hood and the mask, and it looks so realistic like the movie. But here's Roy with the original hood. It's just ridiculous. So Roy looks like he did in the movie. And then you can take off his mask, and he is, Roy underneath. You have Jason with, Jason versus Freddy. Freddy vs. Jason, whichever it is. Cool little mask that's all scraped up. I don't like his face underneath. This is like the Frankenstein Jason. He's got these big, clod hoppers on. And then the face is just, I don't know what they did, but it doesn't, I don't know. It's just not, that's not my cup of tea. At a certain point, though, you make up your mind that you want I'm at a point where I want every Jason, even from the movie that I might not like all that much. Like, I don't like Jason Goes to Hell at all. But I love how Jason looks, and I would love a figure to go with the rest of these Jasons. Here's the remake Jason, and he also looks incredible. He's got a great mask. He's got a great unmasked look. They did a killer job with Jason. And I think I want to hire an artist for a little concept piece of art where I had a story I talked about where I did I scripted a reboot, and it led into a part 2. Jason in part 2 had a certain look that's totally different than anything we've seen before. Obviously, it's got to have the bulk, the Jason look with deformity and the mask, but outside of that, it has something that's a little different. I would love for an artist to draw that. I'll pay him to, get it done, but I would love to see visually how that looks, and then I can determine if that's something that would work visually. But here's some of my horror stuff. I know I don't have it organized right now. You got Sam from Trick or Treat. You got the Bride of Chucky. You got the OG Child's Play Chucky. My daughter's Chucky there. You got Pennywise from It and Chapter 2. You got the TV show or a mini series It back there. And then we spill over into some video game ones. Drake, Bulletstorm, God of War, the Terminator, Rocky, E.T. Freaking love these things. It looks just like the movie. NECA killed it. Anyhow. So, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. You got Michael Myers down here with another little Camp Crystal Lake photo holder. I just got the other day. I forgot Michael Myers back there with a window cling. Cool mask by Para Immortal on Instagram. He makes these custom painted masks. Little Michael head. Oh, my brother painted this as a gift one year. It's just a cheapo mask that he painted up in a really dirty, weathered, and vintage mask that I thought was freaking amazing. I love this thing. It even wears comfortably. It's not pancaked. Visually, it looks cool, and he did one hell of a paint job. He said it was easy as shit too, but it came out really well. I dig that a lot. Some of my favorite things to collect are, funnily enough, have turned into the NECA figures. They make Gremlins. I freaking love Gremlins. It's the only collectible figure that I would army build, as they say, which is buy multiples. When I can, if I can, I'm going to pick up multiples. I got to get the Flasher Gremlin, but I got to get all different types of Gremlins and double and build a diorama and have them as a set piece where they're all in it just wrecking havoc. That's because the Gremlin movies, obviously it's nostalgic for me. I grew up with them, but visually they're so well done. Again, these are toys technically, but they're toys and adult collectibles. Actually, I think they're marketed as adult collectibles. They're not in the toy aisle. You got to go to a special aisle for them over by the movies. But for the price point, they're done very well. So I want to get a buttload of them. They got the part 2 Gremlins coming out with Greta and some of the others. I cannot wait. So I want to grow those. I want to get the rest of the horror ones too. Michael Myers, the OG from part 1, if they'll ever make it. I got part 2 over there. The remake, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. Get it all done eventually. I want NECA to make all the Jasons, even a couple more Freddys, like New Nightmare. What else would look cool from the remake? Why not add it to the collection? Pennywise is pretty much done, I think. Add a couple more heads or whatnot, but I think there's enough on the market where buy that and be happy. Even when it comes to the movies outside of horror, you've got the Terminator 2, which is a really cool 2-pack. Sarah Connor looks like a boss. I mean, she is freaking epic. Here's some other Terminators that recently I set them here because I got my hands on this guy, which is a reissue, which means NECA released him a few years ago. And after he sold out, the price jumped up to like $100 to $200, something ridiculous. So I was at Walmart buying something, and I saw him, and I had to open the box because I didn't recognize the box. And I was like, holy shit, I thought they, I didn't know they reissued it. And then I saw a post on NECA officially announcing it like 2 days later. So yeah, this is one that I would have totally missed because I didn't even know they had it out. And when I was getting NECAs at the time, I started just getting the Predators and the horror ones, but now I'm hooked on the movie ones. And this Terminator looks incredible. It's from Part 1, which is something that I love. I love the fact that he's from Part 1. It's when he assaults the police precinct, and then here's the the Terminator from when he first shows up and he goes on that assassination spree where he kills all the Sarah Connors, and then he goes to the hospital. Not the hospital, what am I doing? The club. And from that point on, I think he starts dressing up like this. Anyway, no, it's a little bit. And then he damages his eye in the car. And that's when he starts dressing like this with the glasses. Anyway, here's a Terminator from Part 2. I don't have any others. This is it. Because I just, not recently, but within a year, I made up my mind to get some of those. One of the main reasons is because I do want a Blu-ray shelf with movie collectibles. And if NECA's going to make shit like this, this is by far one of my favorite NECA figures. It's not even horror related or nothing. Back to the Future is one of the movies, Part 1 now. Part 1 is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time. And I rate that based on how many times I can watch it and not get sick of it. Like there's a few Friday the 13th, like the original OG Friday the 13th, I get sick of that. I have to be in the mood. Some of the ones later on, I really do enjoy, and that's because I like the slasher with actual Jason. I'm not real big on the point of view stuff, but Back to the Future. Now, The Thing is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, or I should say body horror. And again, I rate that based on I can watch it a million times and never get sick of it. So those are my top two, probably movie/horror movie. Now, this isn't from The Thing, but this is McFarlane Toys, and this is from The Fly. And he's gross as shit. I showed him off. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys The Fly, didn't I? He is nasty. I took my daughter to a toy store and we found him. I think I told you this story, but he is nasty, gross. Look at him. Well, McFarlane made The Thing figures, and I really want to get them, but they are mad expensive. McFarlane's on a roll recently with some of the Batman stuff. I'm not real big on it. Only because his distribution is a little out of whack, and I'm not playing around with the games. The distribution's all over the place, and pre-orders and yada yada yada. Plus, they got like variants that you gotta hunt down or order online and hope you get lucky and get them. I'm not playing. So ever since he started doing that shit, I kind of fell back, and I figured I'll find them whenever I find them. I am interested in the Spawn though. I really dig Spawn. I'm hoping he ships the Kickstarter real soon, though. One of the last things I really got is the Sideshow Jason. Now it's funny because his mask is a bit crooked. These should be even in a line, but see how they kind of go sideways, go slanted down. This is supposed to go straight down like this. It's supposed to be like that, but directly under his nose. You see what I mean? Anyway. I love the eyes. The eyes are incredible. I would have loved a maskless version, but this guy was a gift, and I love him. I keep him on my office desk. He is incredible. I would love to eventually get like a Freddy and a Michael Myers. I know Trick or Treat Studios started putting out the Michael Myers from like part 1, 2018, part 2, part 3, and part 4, some shit like that. I would love to get the OG version and then 2018. But until then, I just have Jason in 1/6 scale. And then I got a few Predators, which they are incredible. They are absolutely incredible. Obviously, some Ninja Turtles, I think those as well, when it comes to the sculpt and display purposes, they are amazing. The talent that went into them. And then there was the Predator, real big into Predator. Here's one of the new ones. That's the Armored Lost Tribe. And then the aliens. You got Predator, you got to have aliens to go with them. Now, Alien was one of those figures I've seen in stores years ago, like 8 years ago or so. But I thought the people looked like shit. Ripley and all, they look terrible. Now, very different. Parker looks amazing, just like the actor. Brett here, amazing. I mean, they look great. I think Parker I'm the most impressed with. He looks just like him. And then you get the aliens where they have a little bit different on each one pretty much. You got the OG aliens, you got the bloody OG, you got part 2, well that's Alien and that's Aliens. You got the eggs, the face huggers, the chest bursters. I mean, it's great. From the video game, it's all over the place. And then the Doomsday Clown. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do as far as display wise. Like I said, I want it to be more like a combination of here's figures with the movie shelf, you know, like a little mini museum type. I've seen a lot of how collectors display their stuff, and I'm not really a big fan on a lot of what I see. I don't know, just not really a big fan on a lot of it, but I'll figure it out. Everything right now is just in the office. And then finally, the complete Friday the 13th Blu-ray collection. This thing I love. For me, it was worth every penny. I've never had the complete set before. Now I do. All loaded with special features, and they look amazing, especially part 3 in 3D. It looks amazing. Halloween Steelbook. I still am excited. Here's the 2018. I'm still excited to bang these out as far as videos go. Really excited. So don't lose hope, because I am working on that most likely when you're watching this. But I don't know. At first I thought this would be an easy, we'll talk about the Jason Voorhees and figures and yada, yada, yada. But I don't even know if I explained anything that anyone was really interested about. You'll have to let me know. But yeah, that's it for Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, I should say. That's it. I'll see you guys next time, I guess. If you got any questions, holler at me below.